Welcome back to Pause to Unedit Yourself, a podcast where reflection meets transformation, where we explore the art of becoming one intentional pause at a time. I'm your host, Anushka, and each episode offers you a chance to press pause and explore bite sized insights and soulful reflections from my own journey of introspection in the hope it will help you too on your path of personal evolution. Whether you're feeling stuck, seeking clarity, or simply wanting to expand, my hope is that this becomes a space of inspiration and deep remembering, guiding you to evolve from within and uncover the infinite potential that lives inside each and every one of you. Your time is extremely valuable. It's the most precious commodity. So I just wanted to thank you for being here and sharing this space with me. And thank you for pressing pause and choosing to journey inward and daring to become the highest expressions of yourself. Wow, we're back. Can't believe it's season two. Sat down to record the episode, and I've been working on this season. And I was just thinking, time has just flown by. I actually was hoping to take out some time over the winter to pause, to rest and reflect. And I think I mentioned that on the last episode. That was the intention. But as life often reminds us, it always has its own plans. Sometimes those plans do turn out to be even better than the ones that we make. Yeah, it's the last couple of months have been very nourishing, have been very full, and yeah, it's made me realize that you have to really live in the present moment. I think that was a kind of key thing that I have taken away from these last few months is living in that present moment. It then allows all opportunities to come to you because life then kind of moves through you, for you effortlessly. And then what it is that you desire, there is room for that to come through. And there's a little fun fact about me why this has been such a difficult transition for me is because I actually used to be an absolute serial planner. And if you ever ask any of my family or friends, they will tell you everything had to be organized, everything had to be planned. I used to plan my holidays like a year in advance, everything had to be mapped out. And a few years ago, I realized just how impermanent life really is. And don't get me wrong, there is room for that structure. Everything, that there needs to be a bit of that balance. But living in a structured way constantly doesn't allow for life to flow as well, right? Since then I've tried to really leave space in my life for it to unfold and leave room in my schedule for the unexpected, and that's really where the magic starts happening. And when you stop forcing life to unfold in a specific way, you really begin to allow life to move through you instead. And that's what it's been like the last few months. Incredibly rewarding. I've spent time volunteering in my community. It's been deeply fulfilling, and I've also had the opportunity to connect with more people in this community, and those moments have really reminded me why I started this podcast in the first place. And it's a good reminder knowing that everyone is on their own journeys, and sometimes we all need a little guidance, a little clarity, aha moment when things feel uncertain. And it's during those times that we really need to press pause because very often the answers that we are searching for, they're not outside of us. They already exist within us. And this podcast was always meant to be that kind of gateway. I guess you can call it that. A space where you can pause for a moment, reflect, for your thoughts, and perhaps, start seeing something from a different perspective. And look, I'm going to be totally honest. There have been so many moments over the past year for myself where doubt has really sort of like crept in, moments where I wondered if I should even continue. And I think I've mentioned this on previous episodes. And every time that fear kind of crept in, every time that question appeared, you know, something happened. One of you would reach out, a message would arrive. I would speak to somebody. Somebody would share how an episode helped them at a particular time and to see something differently. And each time that happened, it really reminded me that this space has a purpose. And when I started this podcast a year ago, honestly, I was simply just trying to find my voice. I had absolutely no idea where it might reach, who it might reach, who might listen to it. The only intention was that I felt there was something I wanted to share, lessons I was learning myself, reminders I often needed to hear. And I thought, surely there must be others walking their own journeys too, seeking clarity, seeking understanding, seeking moments of peace in the noise of everyday life. So it was then that I told myself that if even one person found something meaningful here, then the podcast would have served its purpose. Because sometimes that journey of purpose, it doesn't begin with clarity. It begins, what I've realized, with this quiet unraveling where the life that you had kind of made sense. It no longer feels like it fits. And all of those roles that you once carried and the identity that you once believed in and the parts you kind of followed so fearlessly, it suddenly feels unfamiliar. And it's actually in that unfamiliar space that the question starts to bubble up to the surface. And it's a question many of us spend our lives trying to answer. And it's something that is I've been asking over these years. And it's why am I here? What am I meant to do with this life? This gift of life? What's my purpose? And for a long time, I think we're kind of taught to search for this purpose in the outside world. It starts from a very young age that we are kind of molded and guided, saying, well, this is what you have to do when you grow up. This is the kind of careers that you need to have. And life looks like having these kind of achievements and these kind of awards and trophies and this kind of recognition. And that's what life is all about. But I think the deeper truth is that purpose doesn't, it rarely arrives as something we achieve. I think more often it's what I've realized, it appears as something that we remember. It's that quiet inner pull. It's that feeling. It's that curiosity. It's that feeling that there is something within you that wants to wants to be expressed through your life. It's not forced, I don't think. I don't think and it's not manufactured, but it just needs to kind of flow. Your purpose is hidden from you. I think it's there all along, and we have all of these layers of programming that we have to peel back to so that you actually begin to notice. It reveals itself in the places where you then place your attention and it naturally starts coming back. It reveals itself in the questions that you start asking yourself. It's that it's that quiet voice beneath all of that noise that keeps whispering. There is more of you. And so perhaps the real journey of purpose, it's not about becoming someone new. Perhaps it's about having the courage to slowly peel back all of the layers of everything you were told you should be. What has always been true about you can actually come forward. And perhaps this is a deeper truth about purpose. It's not something waiting for you at the end of a perfectly planned path. It's something that slowly reveals itself as you become more of who you truly are. And maybe purpose is not something you find once and then you hold on to forever. I think it also evolves as you evolve, it expands as your awareness expands. And often the only thing that stands between you and the life that you are meant to live is the courage to release all of those identities that were never truly yours. You know, the fear of judgment, the need of approval, the habit of the belief that you must be more, achieve more, prove more before your life can begin. But the truth is this: you are not here to become someone else. You are here to become more deeply yourself. And the moment you begin to listen to this quiet voice, this quiet intelligence, this nudge within you, life starts to respond. Not because the universe suddenly decides the timing was right. No, because you became the person who was finally ready to receive what was already waiting. And sometimes, we often call that divine timing, but in truth, it's the moment when your inner world and your outer world begin to align. And sometimes that alignment begins with something very simple: a pause, a moment where you stop searching outside of yourself long enough to hear what has been quietly guiding you all along. Because when you pause, you begin to see more clearly. And when you begin to see more clearly, you begin to question what you once accepted as truth. And it's at that point, slowly, you begin to unedit the parts of yourself that were hidden beneath the fear, the expectation, and the conditioning. And perhaps that is what this journey is really about: not chasing purpose, but really remembering it one step at a time, one moment of awareness at a time, until the life you are living becomes a true expression of who you are. So I invite you to take a breath, press pause, and listen closely, because the next step of your path may already be quietly waiting for you within. As always, I use these episodes as reminders for myself, like mini guides that you can refer to whenever you need a check in with yourself for a moment of recalibration. So do feel free to save them and do share them with someone who might need to hear them. And please do share your comments and feedback too. It will help me to know what resonates for you and what you would like to hear more of. See you on the next episode.